Welcome back to the Moment Makers podcast.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
So this episode is going to be the first episode of 2020. It's going to be kind of a recap episode and probably like a what we look forward to in our personal lives and kind of what we're looking to do in our personal lives to keep anxiety in check. Um, so if you want to, do you have anything you want to say, Eli?
I just want to, of course, wish everybody a happy New Year's. I hope everything went well
Yeah,
in
Happy New Year.
2019. Yeah, hopefully everything was all right in 2019, and we were gonna keep the momentum going into 2020. You know, so yeah, definitely gonna look forward to recapping over 2019. It's definitely a crazy year for me, like with all kinds of changes, but with change comes growth, right?
Yep.
So I guess let's start it off with you, bro. How was your 2019? How did everything go for you?
It was good. Me and my wife had our second kid, and that was a challenge in itself, but it's been a blessing in itself as well. Um, it feels like we've had two kids our whole lives, which is like the weirdest part about having kids. It takes like 2 weeks, and they feel like you've always had them. So
Mm.
we're finally getting into a good groove with that. Anxiety wise, I've kind of kept a lot of stuff in check by getting back into the gym and dieting and um, kind of doing all of those things that are tools for me. um, Looking to 2020, I'm getting more methodical about my approach to diet and exercise and getting to a mindset of um, like getting into a mindset of not giving excuses, trusting the process, and letting myself get to where I want to be. As far as my physique and my mental health go. My wife's starting school, so that's going to be a challenge, but it's going to be a fun thing. I think it's something that she needs to get out of the house and away from kids for a weekend every other weekend. So it'll be good for all of us to for her to have some time away from the kids. So Um, but yeah, that's kind of what 2019 was and what I'm looking forward to in 2020. It's been a pretty slow year, um, but here towards the last 2 months of 2019, we started the podcast, and I'm starting to get back into the groove of doing Spero again and getting stuff going with that. So
Yep.
um, that's definitely something I'm looking forward towards in 2020 is getting that going, doing launches every month or every other month with um, new products and giving away a shirt every month for 5-star reviews. That's something I'd like to do. So
Yeah, or maybe even doing like a shirt, giving away a shirt or a piece of merchandise for those who actually want to do an interview with us as well.
yeah, we can look to doing that too. I just want to get the community more involved because we don't have hardly any. I think we might have 2 reviews, but no actual comments about the show. So that's
Hmm.
something I'd like to build is our reviews and comments on the actual podcast page on iTunes, so that we can grow the platform and reach more people. So
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And then, of course, guys, we want to encourage you guys to continue to connect with us on Instagram. It's definitely where we're going to be doing a lot of our Q&A, so you guys can post your questions there. And definitely all of our announcements for these launches we're going to be putting into Instagram as well. And Brendan, I know, like, I think we're going to start looking into YouTube as well, so that we can start
yeah,
showing.
that's something I'd like to do this year coming up too.
Yeah, actually, what's cool is my girl's birthday is coming up, so she's already asking for a camera so that I could actually work out.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. So so what else do you think you're gonna be coming up to on in 2020?
Um, just getting mindset right. I feel like over the last few weeks or last couple months of getting back into the gym and getting my mental health in check
Mm-hmm.
has given me a lot more focus on what I'd like to accomplish in my life and in 2020 specifically. Um, a goal of mine in my life is to own a handful of businesses, um, preferably by the time I'm 30. Self-sustaining businesses that have their own income that I don't have to do anything for, as far as financially. So that's my goal, is to set the groundwork now for some of those businesses, this podcast being one of them, where we can grow over the next 6 years and get to where everything is kind of self-sustaining and they're doing their own thing.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
And I think that's the thing with like New Year's resolutions and goals, is a lot of people will have really awesome resolutions. They want to get back into the gym, or they want to lose some weight, or they want to start writing that book that they've started writing and never finished, or whatever. But the thing with setting goals is that you have to have action for those goals. So you have to
Yeah.
have small actions that ultimately get you to that goal. So for me personally, I've got goals for the short term and the long term. And
Mm-hmm.
something I've started doing here in the last week or two of 2019, and something that I'm going to do every day in 2020, is journaling. And it's a specific format. Zach Kravitz is the one that I kind of took it from. He's got a really awesome podcast. It's Ramblin' Radio with Zach Kravitz on iTunes and Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
He's really big on like helping entrepreneurs and people set their goals and achieve things that they want to achieve. And that format that I have for the journaling is something that he actually sent to me himself. Um, that is, it's very clearly setting your goals for the short term, the long term, your motivation, and all of that. So
Yeah, that sounds sweet, man. Like you really did touch base on a very important aspect when it comes to setting goals and New Year's resolutions. Because obviously, like I've worked at the gym. Hopefully, I'll be working there again. And I see it all the time. The beginning of the year, the first couple months, it's crazy packed. Like everybody's
yeah,
motivated, and usually by March, it starts to dwindle down. And one thing I feel like a lot of people need to understand is that if you can't stick to your workout schedule, then just adjust it. Don't just quit. You know, uh, like we had talked about in previous episodes, like start off small, like going once a week, maybe twice a week, like a 30-minute workout or whatever you could fit into your schedule. Because as long as you're getting into the gym, you're already beating the first obstacle, and that's getting there.
yeah. And I
So,
think part of that is setting obtainable goals too.
yeah,
It's not
exactly.
jumping into it, going to the gym 6 days a week, or having a goal of a 600-pound deadlift when it's your first week in the gym.
Yeah.
It's set obtainable goals that you can achieve, that are challenges that you work towards over a period of time. If it's quarterly, if it's uh, by every 3 months, every 6 months, every 12 months, set a goal for that period of time that's achievable or attainable in that period of time, and then change your goal.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, even for myself, in my notes that I have on my phone, I have one major overall goal that I have, and that's it's basically like my vision. It's like I want to prove to myself and to everyone that I can achieve my dreams. So I kept it very broad because I wanted to apply to everything in life. So
Yeah.
My dreams of getting a home, my dreams of getting married, my dreams of being a tattoo artist, and then my dreams of working in this podcast and helping it grow. I wanted to apply to everything, so I wanted to make one overall vision, and then I have my different small goals. So like my 2019 recap so was that I actually, in the beginning of the year, I was working at the dealership over at Howard Orloff, and I was making pretty decent money. But I wanted to work in helping people. And I had just finished my bachelor's degree, and I wanted to get into the field. And it was a lot of job hopping this year. And, I had been at the dealership for 3 years, so like this year was a huge shift. So I was dealing with a lot of anxiety because the fact that I was changing jobs. Like I actually took a job as a medical coordinator. I was working downtown. The typical Chicago setup. You got your good job working downtown. And working for lawyers, but still wasn't very satisfying to me. And then plus my boss was just absolutely horrible. Just
Yeah.
to be very honest. And then I ended up switching and working for Pilsen Wellness Center, and then that's where I really dug into the mental health field. I worked there for a bit, and then that's when I got exposed to the troubling reality that the state government really doesn't fund that field, and it's very much in need of attention and support. So I would definitely want to continue working in the field, but I needed something that was going to actually financially be able to keep me stable.
Yeah.
So, so then I actually met my soulmate, met my girlfriend, and what what I can say is that because of her, I really was able to focus on what I wanted in my life, um, and that's when I created my vision. I wanted to get married. I wanted to become a tattoo artist. I kind of gave up on that dream a while ago because I thought it wasn't feasible. And she kind of helped me to realize that it actually is if I were to just put my mind to it and believe in myself. And it just goes to show that having the right people in your life can really be a huge game changer. It can really motivate you. Um, so
Well,
yeah,
and
that.
that's
No, go
something
ahead.
we've talked about in the past too. Is having the right people that are positive influences in your life.
Yeah,
That's a
exactly.
big part of mental health is staying in a healthy mindset consistently. Because if you have people around you that are into stuff that you shouldn't be into, or um, you know, put whatever is that thing for you here, um, it's just going to bring you down. But if you have
Yeah.
people who are building you up that want to see you succeed, I have a buddy that I'm trying to help um, get back to where I feel like he needs to be, and
Hmm.
we've been going to the gym in the mornings at 5 a.m. for an hour just to get moving and get stuff going. And I think doing that with him is a good influence on him and a good influence on me. Because I need people like that in my life that are going to build me up. So um,
Yeah.
that's something we've talked about is having positive influences, and that's something that's cool to see that you're putting into practice, or that you have been in 2019 and that you're looking to continue to do in 2020. So
Yeah, exactly. And that's it. And this it needs to go even further. Like a lot of my friends and including my girlfriend, they've all continued to support me and to even challenge me because you know I was I was chasing my dreams, but I'm also like extremely busy, so it's very hard for me to focus on my internal growth as well. So I was very, very lucky to have a girlfriend that would challenge me and remind me that I still need to grow as a person. And she was very, very much supportive and very inspiring because she's doing the same. She was stepping back and reflecting and doing all the growing that she needed. Um, and it kind of gave me a whole different perspective in the fact that you can focus on your dreams and all the external dreams that you have, but you still have to remember to cater to your internal needs and your internal dreams. So it kind of put me back on track. So now everything's kind of balancing out and things are going a lot better. Um, and now basically for 2020, my small goals that will lead up to my dreams is to continue to be consistent with the moment makers and to actually support growing that and then reaching out to people. So doing the episodes and helping out with the launches and hopefully my girlfriend will be more involved and we can actually start putting out videos. So it's definitely going to be a huge year for Moment Makers of 2020. Um, and actually
And I think
2020 is going to be a huge year personally for me as far as tattooing as well because it's going to be, I think, next month or
okay,
February where I'm going to actually start tattooing.
awesome. That's gonna be sick.
Yeah, so
You'll
it's
have to you have to come to Lewisburg and give us some tattoos to show off your new skill
yeah, I'm gonna have
for
to start building
free.
up clientele.
Um,
Yeah, so that
and,
was pretty
and that's
sweet.
another thing. That's another thing I wanted to add with doing the podcast consistently and getting on a consistent routine where we have 2 episodes a week, um, and getting a way that was something to get started, but it's not how we want to continue. So having a decent setup where we have like good quality microphones and some kind of setup where we can have live feed or something that we can post on YouTube is the ultimate goal in 2020. I'd like to do it before summer of 2020. That way we can get stuff going consistently during the summer. So
Yeah, that would sound cool. And just so you know, you're cutting out just a little bit, so we see if back. Yeah. But
well,
caught the last bit.
and again,
The last half there.
that's why we're looking towards getting better quality in 2020 because
Yeah.
2019 has been not the best quality, cutting in and out. The quality of the audio has been just subpar, so that's what we're looking to fix in 2020.
Yeah. Well, it's humble beginnings, right? You know, we're figuring it
Yeah,
out as we go along.
yeah,
Uh,
for sure.
but that's the one thing. It's like, and I wanted to actually add off of that, and the fact that I was actually just talking with my girlfriend, and when we were talking about, we were actually, and this is just like an example for a mentality state. So we were talking about like how kids that are born into rich families, like they have like such amazing opportunities and it's things that you can't get. And you know, and, I, and she was just like, it's crazy to see how easy it is for them. She's like, sometimes I kind of wish that happened for me or whatever. And and I told her honestly, I was like, there are a lot of things that I feel like they miss out. Um, you know, when they are born into a wealthy family. And
Well,
she was,
it's that grass is always greener mentality.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
looking at someone else's life is always going to look better than what yours is if you're not happy with how you came to be who you are. You know,
Yeah,
um, me and my wife were watching a YouTube family. They just had a kid, and in the video that we were watching, the lady, she was talking about how the kid never cries and sleeps through. And my wife made a comment where it was, man, it must be nice for stuff to come so easy. And like us having 2 kids, we relate with, most people don't have that easy through the night. My wife's been having headaches and stuff because of staying up in the night feeding our 4-month-old. But it's that grass is greener mentality. Like I wouldn't trade anything for the life that we and in the stuff we've experienced, like you were about to say. And I hate that I butt in when you're talking so much. That's something that, but that's what you were about to say, is that you appreciate where you've come from and the things you've experienced, where those people don't have those experiences in their life to make them who they are.
Yeah, and like I also wanted to add in there that so like my girl was saying that that she was just being sarcastic, and she was just like, what, they just missed out on like the struggles and the stresses of money and all this stuff. And I told her, I was like, you know what, I was like, life, I was like, for one thing, we shouldn't compare ourselves to anybody else. I'm like, we gotta look at a situation as an opportunity, and just like you said, like our experiences made us into who we are today. And and she was just like, it's just like, there's so many things I feel like I should be doing right now already, and like things that should be different. And I told her, I was like, society likes to make life a race, that we have to get this by this time and this by that time. But one of the things that my mom told me, and it stuck with me, is that life is not a race. We're all going at our own pace, and we all blossom at our own time. Well, nobody's rushing a flower to blossom. Nobody's looking at a caterpillar, rushing it to turn into a butterfly. It's a process of it becoming a butterfly that makes it such a beautiful journey. And it's the same thing with life. Life is going at our own pace, developing who we are, and I like to consider life a journey of exploration. you know, our experiences help us explore new opportunities, help us explore different depths of our beings, and helps us develop into people that we want to be, um, but without the stress of doing it by a certain time. I think that's one thing that's like been a huge lesson for me, especially for this year, because I technically started over. I had developed my degree and my career in mental health, and then to completely start over and start an apprenticeship at a tattoo shop where I'm not even getting paid. I'm starting completely over, like I'm going back to school. And I had to remember that it's not a race. We're gonna go through these processes, and if that means starting over in order to be happy, then just do it. You know.
Well, that's the thing that sucks about the generation that we're in now, is that the generation above us has had their career set. They've either the generation above us or the one above them. They had their career for 40 years. They've retired from there, and now they're living their life.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be hard pressed to find someone in our generation that's able to retire when they're 70, let alone when they're 80 or 90.
No, yeah.
Because of how inflation is, and how uh, money just doesn't mean what it used to. Um, you know, for me and my wife to buy our first house, it was going to be upwards of $150,000-$200,000. So we decided not to buy a house right now and to just save some money. But
Mm-hmm.
back in the day, you could buy a house for $6,000, $7,000.
Yeah.
That's now cars cost more than what houses used to cost back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. It's crazy. But even more on what you're talking about, um, I think that having what you want to do in life planned isn't the case. It's just not realistic, because
Yeah.
you're going to change and develop as a person and find out what your interests are over time. And it might take you 10 years to figure out where you want to be. And you might luck into where you're at and be happy where you are. It's all about taking chances and trying things. Um,
Yeah.
you know, Something as a testament to where you are now, thinking that you couldn't ever become a tattoo artist and being a month away from legally tattooing on your own is something to be said. If you can do that, then what's holding anybody else back from achieving what they want to do?
Yeah.
It's a mentality of getting past yourself and your insecurities, and a lot of that is stemmed from mental health. If you take lifting, for example, if you take lifting and dieting, and you put all of your focus on that one thing for 3-6 months. You do that, invested fully into that. Something's going to change in your mindset where you realize that you can do more than what you thought you could.
Mm-hmm.
And then you compound on that. You take that next step, and then you have this idea that, for me, it's Spero. I wanted to start a clothing company. So you research into it and you find stuff, and you start developing designs and these things. And then you compound on that. After you've established that, and you have some stuff going with that, you compound on that. And you keep building on that mentality that you have where you're focused, and you realize that you can really do anything you want to do as long as you put effort into it. You focus on that entirely with who you are to achieve what you want to do. You and I have different weight loss journeys, but ultimately the same idea. We were one place where we didn't want to be. We took steps to be where we wanted to be, and we accomplished those goals. You gained, what was it, 20, 30 pounds?
Yeah.
To get where you wanted to be. I lost 60. It's two ends of the spectrum, but me and you are just regular dudes. There's nothing special about us that our genetics are very different. We aren't blessed with perfect genes where we have ripped bodies, and gains come easy.
Yeah.
I put on weight a lot faster than you lose weight fast. But me and you have done things in our walk, in our fitness journey, to achieve what goals we want. And of course, I've fallen away from some of what I was doing, and that's where my mentality is flipped that switch. There's a guy I follow on YouTube. His name's Nick Bear, and he talks about flipping that switch on and breaking it. And I think that's so powerful when it comes to even mental health, is taking your mentality, flipping that switch on, and breaking the switch so you cannot turn it off.
Exactly. And to kind of pick off after that is just that once you break that switch, a lot of people they get scared. I had a talk with actually my girlfriend. We've been talking a lot, very deeply lately, and it's been a wonderful experience. And one thing that we had talked about was that if you're constantly scared, looking at the past, looking at what you've been through, looking at what you couldn't do in the past, then how are you going to be able to look forward and look toward the future? That's like looking in the rearview mirror while you're trying to drive down the highway the whole time.
Yeah.
You're going to end up crashing.
Yeah.
And the thing is that people got to understand that your past isn't what makes the person that you are today. You can take your past and learn from it and become a different person from it, but it's not going to determine your future. What determines your future is what you do on an everyday basis from that moment forward. And like even for me, I could have just like sucked it up and stayed at a dealership and not really done much, because I was getting paid good, whatever. And like my past experiences before has always told me, stick to a job that pays you good because you don't know when the next one's going to come. But I took the risk, and I just decided, hey, I'm not going to be happy at the dealership for the rest of my life. I can't picture myself retiring here because it didn't satisfy my internal needs. It always goes back to your internal needs. What makes you happy? What gives you purpose? And I want to encourage everybody to always remember your internal needs. Don't ignore it. Everybody. It's sad because it's so common for people to settle because a job pays them well. And I feel like so much of society is missing because of that. You think back in the Renaissance era, back when art was like huge. These people did it because it was their passion. Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, all these people that really made huge impacts on society because they expressed their passions.
Yep.
And I feel like that's why music is still a huge force because people are doing it because they're passionate about it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something that we need to encourage to bring back is no matter the cost, just chase your dreams. I had just told my girl, I think it was yesterday, and I literally told her, I was like, I don't care if I'm poor, I still want to impact people's lives. I was like, I'd rather be poor and be impacting people's lives than be rich and be nothing.
Well,
I
and
don't.
I would prefer someone that's relatable to be impactful. If you're sitting in a mansion sipping on Voss water that you buy individually from the gas station because you can afford to pay $4 a bottle of water, it doesn't have the same effect. Like, you don't know what I struggle with as just a regular person. And I'm not saying that I'm broke. I mean, me and my wife are comfortable. God has blessed us to be comfortable, and she's going back to school, and a lot has been in place for us to be where we're at.
Mhm.
But me and her have both lived full lives in just the 23, 24 years that we've been on Earth. And I think a lot of what we have experienced is relatable. And I think what you said about leaving 2019 or leaving your past in the past is a good way to kind of close out this episode.
Mhm.
It's the perfect takeaway for the first episode of 2020 is leaving 2019 in the past and learning from the mistakes you made, building on what focus you have on whatever your dream is and achieving it. So
Yeah, and as cliche as it sounds, don't let other people discourage you, because I've already seen posts like, "Oh, where the New Year, New Me stuff." You know what? If you want to have a New Year, New Me, do it. Do it for
yeah.
yourself. Don't worry about what other people are thinking. Don't worry about
Well, and
people.
that's the important thing too, is to never do anything for the approval or for anybody else. If you're not doing it for yourself, stop doing it, because your
Exactly.
passion is not in it. If you're passionate about it, it's not going to matter what other people think.
Exactly. And if you're
So
passionate about it, then with time you will succeed. And that's just another point I want to add in there. With time,
yep,
go at your own pace.
yep. Well, cool. I'm pumped for 2020 and what we've got in store. I know we've got a lot of good episodes already in mind. A lot of cool stuff coming with Spero, and just a really great year in store. I think 2020 is going to be our year. So I'm pumped.
Yeah, man, I'm excited too. I mean, between what's going to happen with moment makers and Sparrow, and also with tattooing. If any of y'all are interested in getting tattooed, just follow me on Instagram at Journey of Eli. And if you want to interact with us, you can follow me on that page, and then follow Brendan at Brendan Toller. And we do have our actual page, Moment Makers. So just continue to support us, guys, and to interact with us. And I'm excited to see this year of growth.
Yeah, for sure. I want to reiterate, we're doing. I'm solidifying that we're doing a giveaway for 5-star reviews. If you leave a 5-star review on iTunes, you'll be entered in for the month of January to win a Spero T-shirt. And I'll let you choose from a list of a handful of designs to get what you want out of that. So leave us a 5-star review. It puts you in a poll for getting a free T-shirt from Spero before we launch anything. So leave us a 5-star review. Go find us on Facebook, Instagram. We'll see you in the next episode.
All right, guys, you have a good one, and Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year.